What is up, adventurers, and welcome to a brand new ShawnSetGO video. Today we're going to be talking about housing, but before we jump into that, a big apology for myself on the most recent streams. We haven't really been posting a whole bunch of content in this past week because I have been setting up IRL events. So something that I've always been passionate about is bringing people together, and in the area that I live in, it is very difficult. For those of you who don't know, I've been active duty military for a little while now, close to a decade now. And in that, it's not always easy to set up communities and find people who also enjoy gaming and find people who actually can play things like WoW. And so I've been putting together an event for the past few months, and I just had my first local tournaments and hoping to start build some sponsors with that and some support behind that as well. So it was definitely a big on taking. It definitely took a lot of effort, but I'm super excited to hopefully start building up in my own local community, as well as kind of be known for something else besides just content creation, also creating something for, the betterment of the community, something that brings positivity and gaming to other people, because I know it's not always easy to get out there. So I hope that I can continue doing this as well as content creation. But jumping into the video though, let's talk a little bit about housing. I think everyone has seen the sheer number of the videos from streamers, because now that there's no longer a hush, it's no longer kept under wraps. People are posting all the same screenshots, etc., but also a series of, hey, here's what I did in housing. And I think there's a lot of really positive things that are coming along with that. And I think the most positive thing that is coming from that, and I've looked at a few of these posts, and I want to talk about the positives first, is that people are just really hyped for these moments. I do want to say that the hype is semi-deserved. There's a lot of people who are like, I just really wish they had this, and then there's someone in the comments who will be like they literally talk about this. They're gonna have it. Like it's been announced. These things are gonna be put in there. It seems like WoW is doing the classic of like, hey, these guys did it before. Why shouldn't we have it? There's very much that type of mentality when it comes to the things that exist in WoW. However, before I jump into my thoughts on this, I do want to talk a little bit about what the community is saying. And so this community, the post is saying, am I weird? I just not get hyped for player housing. Seeing so much hype for the upcoming player housing feature, I'm happy for everyone that is excited, but I don't know. I've been playing since 2005 during vanilla WoW. I would have loved a feature like this, but it seems like it's too little too late. We've talked about this before, and a lot of people, I think, that are on this boat at this point, right here, where it says you're weird for the constant need to seek validation for your own feelings. Not all content is meant for everyone, and not everyone needs to enjoy all the content. I 100% agree with this sentiment. I think that if you're looking out there and you're just like, I don't like this, is there other people who don't like it? I think there's other people who just not interested in this content. I've never been one for transmog. I've never been one for mounts, but every time it comes up in trading post, I pick the ones I like. So it's like, I'm never going to really dabble in those things unless I just have loads of free time, and that's just not my thing. But I think we're past this argument. To me, this level of argument is gone. It's gone and done. And I don't mean to dismiss them as it being valid. I think it's valid to feel this way. However, I don't think this is the concern that we need to have, whether or not you like player housing. I think the concern needs to be, why did Breach make a video? I mean, I'm messing. So with this content creator series of releases, I think there was a lot of course, positivity in talking about, here's what people created, here's what people made. The one thing that kind of miffed me a bit with the streamer set list was it seemed like you got a lot of streamers. I mean, you have people like Sven, you have people like Preach, you have people like Taliesin, you have people maybe like Zepla, I think as well, in there. And maybe I could arguably fit like one of those, like maybe like Zepla as like being more of on the creative casual side of things. But there was a bunch that I'm just like why are we featuring these streamers instead of featuring people like me? No, I'm saying, but I get it with Esfin to a degree, because he does a lot of RP in other games like GTA 5, but I think the lineup of the streamers that they picked, to me, couldn't have been more of a mid to miss on my personal perspective. I think you personally should have gotten a bunch of maybe just lower on the totem pole, or even if there is higher on the totem pole, people who do RP, and just have them do their RP in a preview. Show what you can do with this, because I think we're not at this stage where we can be like, well, what's the function of the house? What can I do in the house? What can I be a vendor? Can I sell things? Can I run arenas? Can I run we don't have answers for those things quite yet. We really just have the interior and exterior decorations. But what you can always do when you just have the visuals, you have nothing of the setup, is you can do the RP. And I think you could really sell people on it. And then the visuals, the decor is bonus. I think they kind of went flip-flop, and they went, let's put a bunch of really high-level streamers on there, get like a couple million views, and then that'll sell it, you know, because it's those streamers. I think that was a miss, in my opinion. I think instead what you should have done is, like, this is freeform enough to fit your RP, to fit your neighborhood. We don't know exactly how neighborhoods are going to be defined, but let's give you the inspiration. Let's put that Pinterest board out there, and then you can define it whenever you get the chance to play it. But give those ideas, that way people have those things brewing in their mind as far as what they want, what they're looking for. Kind of do those things. This did give a lot of visual inspo. I think these are going to be great things that I'm excited for personally. However, I think that we should bring it to reality a little bit. And this post says, as excited I am as anyone else for player housing, never forget a cycle. This one is specifically expansions, but let's explore places with housing. Announce housing, promise to listen to feedback. Players give constructive feedback about the core systems. Disagree, you know, have some delineation, and then they're gonna be like, all right, promise, you know, it's gonna work, or we're gonna stagger the release, so even if it's small in the beginning, it's gonna be good later on, and then adjust according to popular demand. Start adjusting based on feedback initially provided during these early stages, which we were already in, and then fix it. And then it's fixed a third of the way through, where people already have poor first impressions. This is still a possibility. I think even with all the hype, I think this is still a possibility. This is not just me being negative. This is just history. We're talking facts at this point. But I want to be fair. People have mentioned that it is much better than Guild Wars 2. And like, WoW introduces shared neighborhoods, boosting community interaction and allowing players to visit each home. Guild Wars 2, homesteads are isolated. Instances with limited social features, lacking neighborhood dynamics. Only a group of 5 people can visit a homestead. So exteriors, instance neighborhoods will with approximately 50 plots. Guild Wars 2, individual homesteads, no neighborhood. And so you can see, like, there's clearly upgrades from systems that are what? 10 plus years, you know, since. So I think that no matter what, I don't think it's a bad idea that we move the goalpost not further away, but closer. I think that WoW housing is moving those goalposts of what we're expecting with housing closer to us, because we can have a greater idea of what we're going to expect, but also we can also celebrate kind of like, hey, we're kind of already at the end zone of where other games took a while to reach. So I think that's a positive that we should all look at. But with the reality of, I think that at the same time, we have to talk about, we'll look at some of these screenshots here. We have to talk about the fact that in all of this, in these great visuals and all these items, like, I don't think that's going to be my concern. I think what's going to be my concern is, how are those items acquired? What does the base house look like? What can you do from the get-go to inspire you to get to this point? Because the streamers were given basically the laundry list, everything, whether that's multiples, everything's unlocked. The features are like everything that you could possibly get is there, and they can design it as they see fit. Maybe they should have gotten people who were a little bit more design savvy. Get those Animal Crossing players. I'm sure they know what to do, even if they've never played any WoW. But I think that if a base player sees this and then they get their foundation house and they go, oh, in order for me to use to get this pot so I can do my alchemy potions. I have to upgrade to a master level house. In order to get the master level house, I need to first get a second story. In order to get a second story, I need to complete the raid on normal. In order to before I can get to that stage though, I need to first max out my professions to blacksmithing so I can make the pot. And then also I need to get the recipe for the pot, which requires me to do. So that would be my kind of like what I want to see the most. I do understand that professions will likely be involved. I do understand that all forms of content are going to be kind of like tapped into for these things. But I also am concerned about to what level and how far. I love that there's a lot of interaction that you can kind of, I would say, custom design things beyond reality. You can make things overlap and you can kind of make it unrealistic but look good. It's kind of like the way you do it in Animal Crossing, where you can kind of, it's not practical, but looking from the visual standpoint, it's going to look amazing. Like, you're not going to be actively interacting with these things, but I mean, a lot of the house, like, what do you expect? Like, you're not going to pull books off the shelf. These books are the size of a chest. Like, what is it? It's not very practical. I mean, look at this chalice. It's massive. It's made for Taurens. So I think the visuals are good. I think that there's a lot of really good aspects to this so far. I think what I want to see the most is, one, how do these things, like, how customizable are these things? Two, I think there's been some valid concerns that I've seen in regards to the visuals, in that, not that they're bad, whether it's from like Dragonflight or it's from, say, from like Silver Moon setup for Horde. Some of the stuff doesn't mesh super well. Some of it can look very blocky. Some of it can kind of be sort of, you wish you could kind of tinker it with it a bit more. I think those concerns are also valid. I think for me, it's that starting point. And then also, I don't really, we think we saw, or we got really answers on what can we do with it. Not that Blizzard has to give us all the answers. You know, people should feel like they have the freedom to do these things. And it seems like they're all offering a lot of freedom, but I'm not seeing the level of, okay, so what can we do? That's where I'm seeing universally across all these streamer opinions of, like, what were the answers given? What were the things that they'd reveal and that they were willing to talk about? I'm not really seeing a level of, okay, this is where you can fit in your RP and we're going to accommodate that. I think housing without doing that is just like Animal Crossing, in that it's decoration for you. And if that's all you wanted it for, if that's all you want for housing, then it's perfectly fine. But I think a number of people, because of how long it took to get to this point with housing, are expecting housing and housing plus. And I think that's a reasonable expectation to have. I think that that's what you deserve. You deserve housing plus. You can use it as a trading post, as a better way to do active, like you doing work orders. Like housing plus, you can actually do your own dueling grounds here and run your own tournaments, kind of like Dark Souls, like how you do like PvP tournaments, like just on the spot right there. You can set those up. I think if some people were asking, basically, if you have like people who are really popular streamers and stuff like that, and you want to like have a big gathering of people, like people just coming together and stuff like that, can you have say it like a surcharge, or can you have protections so people's houses are safe in those situations? So like nothing gets, like no one gets DDoSed or whatever. I think that's what we want to see. Is a lot of people are going to flack me for that last part. I know you are. I know you're writing the comments right now, but my point is, I think people are expecting housing plus, and I think we haven't quite yet seen what the plus is. Very impressed by the inventory list. Very impressed by the looks of this. Honestly, I like a lot of the Alliance stuff better than the Horde personally. I think a lot of the Silver Moon-esque stuff can be kind of like, wow, like regal on the outside. The exterior stuff, we saw mainly interior stuff, and the interior kind of looks like chunky a little bit, like not so great. And I think some people mentioned like Drakthir esque models, which I wasn't a huge fan of. Whereas the Alliance stuff looks very like wooden cabin style. I think what I would love to see personally, this is my only personal bag, is I would love to see like a Lord of the Rings esque style. But just like if I could change my home into a Hobbit hole, that would do. You wouldn't see me for days. So let me know in the comments, of course, what do you think about housing? Is there anything specifically that you're not quite seeing in the previews, or that you're hoping to see that, you know, that wasn't announced? Or what are the things you are enjoying? I mean, let me know the positives and negatives, of course, in the comments. Give this video a like if you liked it. Subscribe to the page while you're at it. Of course, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.